G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, we're going to be taking out the best tank that never existed, the Panther II. And you might be saying, well, it actually did exist, they built the hull and stuff like that. Well, yeah, they built the hull. They didn't put an 88 in a Panther F turret, and they certainly didn't equip it with night vision. I mean, maybe they equipped a couple of Panther Fs with night vision, but they certainly didn't use the Panther II hull, chuck a gun, chuck a turret on it, and chuck this night vision on it. And lo and behold, we have the best tank that never existed. This tank is amazing. But before we get into this tank, I would just like to say that I'm going to be doing some Black Friday, Cyber Monday things for the merch store. Use the code CYBER20 for 20% off, and hopefully it'll be there by Christmas. Plenty of colors available, plenty of sizes. They're all super comfy. I bought some of it myself. I'm waiting for some other stuff to arrive, and it is really, really comfortable, really good. And if you'd like to support me, I'd be really appreciative of exactly that. But back to the Panther II. For the longest time, the Panther II was one of those tanks that was just incredibly strong. It was, some would say, overpowered. There was no wheeled vehicle, there was no stabilizer, there was insane CAS, but people hadn't quite figured it out. SPAA were sort of just not really used, and the Panther II absolutely dominated everything. And I mean everything. Except getting up-tiered to 7.7, where it would face things like the T10M and the IS-4M, which were extremely tough. And then it got up-tiered to 7.0, and everyone said it was ruined, and that there was just no way out for it. It was just gone, completely gone. And then it came back to 6.7, where it's now pretty much almost as it was before, except there are some stabilizers around and a couple of other things that make the Panther II a little bit less amazing. Now, you might be wondering about my shell selection. You might see that high explosive shell, and it looks like a timed fuse HE shell. Like the thing you would find on a ship with a sort of delayed fuse. I don't quite know what it is. It's certainly not a proximity fuse, because I have tried that out multiple times, and I genuinely don't know what it is. So I've been using it to figure it out. So if any of you guys could let me know exactly what this is in the comment section, I would really appreciate it, because at the end of the day, I do know a fair bit about the game. I know a fair bit about the tanks, but I don't know everything. And so having someone to, help me learn a few things is always really appreciated. I'll teach you somewhat how to play parts of the game, how to, maybe make the most of your tank or your plane, and you can teach me some history or something that I might not know, and we can all learn and grow together, which is, the idea of this whole thing. Learning and understanding and, maybe getting along and making a few friends along the way. So, I've managed to get myself a single kill. We've taken the C cap, and now instead of pushing towards the spawn, I'm going to go and push in front to try and take the B cap. And you can see that I saw a gunshot, and I saw another cannon shot, well, whatever you want to call it, and there's a Walker Bulldog. The Walker Bulldog takes a shot to the face, doesn't die, makes me upsetty, but he's pretty much gone at this point. There's nothing he can do. And there he goes. The Panther II is equipped with the Long 88, and the Long 88 is probably the best thing you could possibly put on a medium tank. And when I say medium tank, I mean anything with a gun smaller than the L7. So, or I guess the Russian 100mm gun, I guess. But honestly, if the Russian gun did not have heat FS, I would probably take this even up to 8.0. It's such a strong gun. It just works. You want the side of an M10? No problem. It doesn't really have that much of an issue. It does with, super light armored stuff, but at the same time you have the machine gun to finish stuff off like M56s, M19s, you name it. But what we're going to do here is go straight for the B cap. I can see that there's no one around, and I'm going to smoke up. And one of the things that the Panther II is equipped with is individual smoke launchers, which is something that you don't really see on any of the other tanks. It's not something that is extremely common on every other tank. Oh, Germans, yes, but not really every other ones. I guess the Cromwell has them. Some, I believe the AMX-30 has some, But for the most part, your average smoke launcher is going to be the little canisters on the sides of the turret that have a single shot. So you have some really, really good stuff at your disposal. And speaking of the smoke, my team has stopped capturing the zone, and I see a Super Pershing right next to me. I'm going to take my time with this one, and he said he was trying to sneak up on me, but I'm the one who snuck up on him. Oh, I love this game sometimes, and sometimes I just want to yeet myself off a bloody bridge. But this game, not at all. I'm having an absolute blast, and the Panther II is one of those things that you can pretty much have a blast in, whether it's an up tier or a down tier. Now, I've decided to pretty much go maximum bully at this down tier and try and play my medium tank sort of, more like I would if it was a sort of up tier. I want to go for the side shots. I want to put this good speed to use, the extra powerful transmission. The Panther II comes with a lot of bonuses because it is probably the best tank that was never made. Honestly, if they had a stabilizer on this thing and they could, somehow fit a stabilizer in the turret, which they could barely fit the long 88 in the turret, it would be really interesting. It would actually be a really, really cool tank. And it's a real shame that we just did not have the ability to make it, I guess. You could probably fit a 4-man crew, maybe, 2 in the turret. You could run, even a 3-man crew. You could run that. Or maybe have a radio operator in the bottom there in the hull. The possibilities are endless. I'd love to see something like this, maybe like a concept art or something like that remade. But what I might end up getting remade because, oh boy, that was very close. Pershing, straight there, I'm going to smoke up. I'm going to put that smoke down. I'm going to go for a speculative shot, and I'm going to hit that strong mantlet, which is one of the Pershing's really strong points. The only real weak spots it has is on the hull, sort of at the upper section. I'm going to smoke off that extra bit because I thought that was a tank, and it turns out it's just an M19. So I'm going to put some MG42 down his way. I think it's MG42, and I'm going to keep going. That gun is fantastic. That little coax is beautiful, and I'm going to push through, and I'm going to go for the cheeky shot in the top of the turret, and I absolutely smash it. Oh, what a dirty shot. What an absolutely dirty shot. The Panther II has the capability of doing that, because whilst there are no dispersion ratings like they are in World of Tanks for guns, there's no real value. There's no numerical value that you can put to that. This gun is extremely accurate, and it has such a good drop-off that you can really do pretty much whatever you want. It's got a very friendly drop-off. It's not APFSDS by any means, but it's certainly better than the 90mm gun. In my opinion, it's better than the 105 and the 120. Honestly, the way the long 88 works, it's beautiful. And look at the zoom you get on the Panther II. Things like this make this tank extremely viable. It's just a nice tank. The way I would play it, if I had a bigger map, for example, is I would go for a flank. The thing is about the Panther II, Centurions are such food if you get them on the side. Obviously, if you're going to face peek a Centurion, you probably deserve to lose your tank. And you can see me there trying out the high explosive shell, and I'm not really going to make a shot that's close, but I have in the past, and I don't think it's distance fused HE. I really wish it was, because then I could turn my Panther II into a Panther II AA, and I think I would really, really love that. That would be pretty fun. But at the same time, I think the Panther II, as it stands, has enough versatility. It's got smoke launchers, it's got the long 88, it's got very good mobility. The only real thing that it would need as such, well, it wouldn't really need it, but it could benefit from a stabilizer. And obviously, since the tank was never built, there's no way of telling if it did or didn't have a stabilizer. So it's best to assume that it wasn't going to be equipped with a 2-plane, because none of the other vehicles with a 75 or an 88 in the German World War II arsenal did. Really, I can't really think of it. I can't think of any of them, but it kind of makes sense. But, we can wish for things. I'm not saying that it should get a stabilizer in game by any means. I think it's fine as it is. In fact, the Panther II is almost too strong for 6.7 because it's like a Tiger II, but kind of better in a way. It has that mobility and it has the same firepower. So what's more valuable, armor or mobility? And we'll see that this mobility almost costs me my tank. He's behind me. And oh man. The Panther 2, you can get yourself into some really bad situations. But having a good team to back you up is so valuable. It's just absolutely valuable. And props to whoever that was that shot out the M56. I really appreciate it. That and the M36 behind me a little bit, maybe a couple minutes ago, that saved my bacon. So it's one of those things that just absolutely is amazing for this tank. If you get a good team that works together, which, isn't that often, but sometimes it happens, you can really, really shine in tanks like these. Holding flanks, covering your allies, covering the push, going for that heavy tank that's holding down your enemies, and of course, researching the Ostwind 2. Because if the Ostwind 1 was so good, why isn't there an Ostwind 2? Exactly, my friends. That tells you everything that you need to know about the Ostwind 2. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. Merch will be in the description below. Do remember the code CYBER20 for Cyber Monday, Black Friday, whatever you want to call it. I'll probably run it for about a week. But until then, take care, and I'll catch you next time.